I don't think so. Let me mute. Go. No.
What's not going to happen?
Wait.
What's not going to happen, Jen?
Hang on, I'm reading the instructions about. Okay. I think everyone's muted, so if the commission members can unmute themselves. Julie Higgins, are you muted? Jill, you have to unmute. Hang on, I'll do it. Jill.
Okay.
No, you have to unmute us.
It's
No,
well,
you can unmute.
Yeah, you have the ability to unmute yourself. Bottom left corner, Jill.
Just
I
click
know,
where it says microphone with the.
I do know that, but when Jen mutes us, she has to unmute us.
No, she
Correct?
just muted us all and we unmuted ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
Check. Check.
Check. We're on our. We can't hear Julie Higgins, or I can't.
She's being very quiet.
No,
Fine.
she was just talking into her microphone. Phone. You
Yeah,
hear her?
but we shouldn't hear her, should
Do
we?
you hear her?
No, this is Lucas. I do not hear her.
no, okay. I mean, just so long as she's muted. I'm not sure why everyone else shows as muted except for that person. So,
Except for Julie Higgins. Yeah.
correct. So we are now recording, Jill, so you can start the meeting.
Okay. Welcome to the Summer Zoning Commission meeting. This is a regular meeting on Monday, May 4th, 2020. This is a teleconference meeting. Jennifer Roy, the staff liaison, is in the town hall, and we are all coming to you from our homes. What I'm going to do is, we're going to have this meeting. I don't have the legal notice, so you're going to have to read that in, Jen, when we get there.
Okay.
But this meeting is a public hearing, and interested parties will be able to speak. We're going to, I believe everybody is muted at this point, except for the zoning commission.
Correct. Jill, it was brought to my attention today by the town attorney that the statutory requirements under the executive order were not met for posting the documents and agenda for a public hearing. It's supposed to be the larger number of days. You don't have to publish it in the journal, but putting the documents and agenda on our website needs to be done for a public hearing for the zoning commission 10 days prior to. Ours was done 5 days.
Okay, so we're not going to have the
So
public hearing.
legally we can't, according to the statutory requirements and the governor's executive order. So the earliest we could do it is tomorrow. Post it again, and it would have to be 10 days from tomorrow.
Okay.
3:30.
So we cannot open the public hearing.
We're not going to open the public hearing.
We cannot.
We could, though, agree to schedule a special meeting
Correct.
in the correct period of time and do it as soon as possible.
Correct.
Yes. So we're going to start with our roll call. We're going to go around or I can call names and people can check in.
We could just state our names.
Okay.
Carl
Jill
Walton.
Conklin. Jill Conklin.
Carl Walton.
Paige Rassid.
Go ahead, Joe.
I've already checked.
Yep, this is Lucas Cherry.
Okay, maybe it's easier the other way, Jill, next time. So we'll just confirm for the record, we have Jill Conklin, Paige Rassid, Dan Ferrero, Carl Walton, Lucas Cherry, and myself, Jennifer Roy, staff liaison.
Okay.
Okay?
We had on our agenda, second on our agenda was a public hearing, which we will not be holding tonight because we didn't notify the public early enough during this COVID-19 teleconference
Executive orders.
executive order. So you're going to post
I can
that notice tomorrow?
if the commission wants to vote, the soonest we can hold one would be May 14th, next Thursday evening, or afternoon or evening.
If somebody makes a motion, we just need to second that and vote, correct?
Well, we have to put the time, the date in.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, that's obvious.
Is-
also
would
make sure
everyone-
it makes sure
Could I
everybody's
suggest-
available.
Could I suggest Monday the 18th at 6:30?
Yes?
Sounds fine to me. It's as
Why don't-
fast. If that date works, yes. It works for me.
So Monday the 18th.
Well, does it work for you, Deanne?
Yes, that's fine with me.
Would that work for you, Lucas?
Let the,
Monday the 18th, 6:30?
sure, I can make it work.
I'd make a motion that we schedule a public hearing on that date for this matter so that we abide by the legislative requirement.
Carl, Carl, can you just state the
One
app?
item of discussion before we second that is I'd like to make that meeting just for this
Item,
item.
yes.
Okay?
I would make that additional motion, then we know what's going to come up and what to expect, and there should be nothing else that should keep it from happening.
Perfect. Okay, somebody want to second that
Well,
motion?
I would state in the motion for the record, Carl, could you state the application number and what the application is?
I will. For application number 20-004, Mark and Karen Murdoch, 24 Gulf Road, Summers, Connecticut, a text amendment to the summer zoning regulations, 214-4 definitions, 214-44 prohibited uses, 214-87 alcoholic beverages, and 214-98 schedule of permitted uses to allow farm, winery, brewery as permitted in all zones. Make
Thank
a
you.
motion to schedule a public hearing on May 18th at 6:30 p.m.
I second that.
Paige second that. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? No opposition? Okay, so we will reconvene for the public hearing on May 18th.
On this matter.
On this matter at 6:30 via teleconferencing, if that's what we're still doing.
Or in person if we're not.
Or in person. Wouldn't that be great?
Would be.
It would be. So, next on our agenda is old business, discussion, possible decision.
What?
Right?
Right.
Yes, for
Yep.
withdrawal of application number 20-002, Dan Eastman at 40 Hallie Lane, Summers, Connecticut. He's withdrawing his special use permit application. And then also withdrawal of application number 20-003, Dan Eastman at 42 Hallie Lane, Summers, Connecticut. And
No, the next one is just
the
tabled
next
until
one
the
is
next meeting.
tabled. That's application number 20-004, marking Karen Murdoch at 24 Gulf Road, Summers. That application is tabled until our next meeting.
Jill, this chairwoman, is that the next scheduled regular meeting?
Which?
Applicant number 20-04, Murdoch.
Yeah, because we have to have the public hearing first, so we can't
Right.
predict.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Just wanting to make sure.
Yeah, so that would, application number 20-004 for Mark and Karen Murdoch that would be for our next regular scheduled meeting.
No, that's a special meeting.
Oh, that's discussion, possible decision
Right.
part of it, not public.
Yeah, so that would be for our next scheduled meeting.
Special meeting on May 18th.
No?
No? Our special meeting on May 18th is just for the public hearing.
Okay.
New business. Moving down to new business. Application number 20006. This is the Union Agricultural Society of Summers, Enfield, Ellington, and East Windsor Incorporated at 56 Egypt Road, Summers. This is a special use permit application in accordance with the zoning regulations, section 214-87, alcoholic beverages, and section 214-93, temporary commercial use to allow agricultural events, shows, public and private events, car shows, fairs, festivals in the industrial zone. Is there anybody online for the applicant? How would we know?
I don't know.
Hello,
There is?
this is Stu Grant with the Union Agricultural Society.
Hi, Stu.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your application?
Well, the application is not for the fair to be serving alcohol, but people rent the grounds too and the buildings too throughout the year. We have some interested parties coming on board that are have an interest in selling and serving alcoholic beverages. So I guess it's my understanding that you people need us to file this special application to be in line with the town rules and regulations. Correct?
Oh, correct. I didn't know that was a question.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, that's the whole purpose for us filing is we got a letter from the town saying that the request had to be filed. So,
Can I ask who sent you the letter?
I did.
Jennifer Roy got in contact with us.
Right. I sent a letter to them. It came to my attention that the legal opinion that we have for the sale of alcoholic beverages at the fairgrounds is only for during the fair, according to the town attorney. And I talked to Carl Landolina again today, and he confirmed that his legal opinion just stands. It remains the same. So it's up to the judgment of the commission. If the commission members feel that it's just a pre-existing use in general for the site, or if you feel, as I'm suggesting, that they need a special use permit in order for myself and the fire marshal to approve any other temporary liquor permits at that location, other than one for the date of the Four-Town Fair.
So if I get this right, Jennifer, you actually approve every event?
Well, I approve every temporary liquor permit in town.
Okay.
Because I approve it that it's actually in accordance with the zoning regulations. And the way I'm reading our regulations would be that they need to have a special use permit because in that zone, that's what our regulations state.
So anybody that wants to have a temporary liquor permit, like if I was having a party or wedding at my house, I would need to do the same thing. Go to zoning and get a temporary liquor?
No, it depends on what the regulations say. In the industrial zone.
I will just say that I'm not well versed on this.
Yeah,
So I'm not.
Well, I sent on a separate email. I was trying to send you all the section of the zoning regulations that pertained.
Yeah, they prohibit sale of alcoholic beverages at retail in an industrial zone.
And Jen, this is Lucas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that the town attorney gave his legal opinion after reading, our zoning regs that this would be recommended. Is that
Correct.
statement?
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant or any questions in general?
I have a general question, just around, alcohol and security. I know at the Fort Town Fair they have a beer garden, and people are checked, and it's got some security around it. I don't think that's necessarily where it needs to go, a festival environment. But I do wonder about caterers. I'm sure that they're only licensed caterers who have liquor licenses serving and things like that. But,
Well-
I'd love to hear from the applicant about that a little bit.
Well, I'd say we have several events prior to this Corona-19 that were scheduled events there and who wanted to serve alcohol during their events.
Could you give us an
So,
example?
Copper Hill Farms wanted to rent the fairgrounds, and they were going to have a club serve the alcohol there. But also there was another event there. Can't remember which one, but say there's been 3 events scheduled involving the sale of alcohol, and then this came up, and so we're just trying to keep our ducks in a row and work together with the town of Somers to make things go smoothly.
I think those are exactly the kinds of events we want to have there.
Oh, they are.
In past events, if alcohol was served or anything like that, the renters are aware that they need to supply, security on there, such as the beer garden. We've got the state police or the town police or someone involved with security issues, so things don't get out of hand and such. And they have to, approach the town as well as the state, get all the correct permits to make their event happen.
And if, and this is Lucas, a question really for Jen Roy. Again, Jen, once they know that all that information, like the temporary permits together, you still review that, confirm everything is legitimate, approve it, and that's the process, correct?
Well, correct. If
Okay.
anyone applying for a temporary liquor permit would have to have myself, the fire marshal, and the town clerk sign off on it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's a lot. That's good. A lot of eyes.
Right. Somebody with a caterer's license can go serve there without me signing it. So that's where I would suggest parameters, to be followed, because I wouldn't necessarily see the liquor part of it. We do see the mass gathering application, which outlines what's going there. We have all of them fill that out. So there's definitely certain checks and balances that would be brought to my attention, that should the zoning commission feel they need to proceed with having a special use permit for this location, and you proceed and put conditions on it as far as time of operation, dates of operations. I would be able to make sure that they're aware of the conditions.
Thank you.
I have one question. As far as the application, should it state in there that they're looking for temporary alcohol permits? Because it doesn't.
Well, it does on the revised application.
The section, it refers to
21487 alcoholic
Yeah,
beverages.
right,
is referred to
21487.
in the current one. It wasn't in the original one that we rejected last time.
Okay, I see it now. It's been revised.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
I make make a motion to accept this for purposes of further discussion. But I agree with Jen that we need to discuss any restrictions we may put on a approval of this, as far as days or times of operation, etc. And I don't know that we're ready to do that right tonight.
Um,
I'm certainly not.
right, you would need to have a public hearing anyways.
Right.
So I mean, I'd make a motion that we accept this and schedule a public hearing if that's what the town attorney says is necessary, and proceed so that we don't hold these guys up either.
And what Carl stated, and it is exactly that, correct? That's what the town attorney's recommending or.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
But, yeah. Is that an official motion? Do I need to second that?
Well, you
That
have
was
to also.
that was pretty much an official motion. Yep.
Did you want to schedule the public hearing?
Refer to planning,
Right.
Yep.
and then pick a date, which would be our next regular. Well, we'd have enough time for our June meeting.
Well, we only have to give 10 days. We already know that, but I think we're better off keeping the winery thing separate.
Right.
Oh yes, so this would be for June 1st.
First.
Whatever our next regularly
That's
scheduled meeting
our
is.
next regular.
Yes.
Our next regular meeting is June 1st.
Right.
So you make that motion with that.
Is the gentleman from the fair still here?
Yes, I am. Yes. Yeah.
What events are in jeopardy if we can't do it till June 1st?
Well, so far, none of them, nothing's been coming to a head just
Oh, that's
because of
true,
the
because of-
coronavirus.
yeah, okay.
Right. So,
All
I
right.
mean,
Okay.
it basically, the way our process works, someone approaches us in regards to, has an interest in renting the grounds, and then we refer to our board, and they make a decision whether this event is going to be safe and it's not going to disturb the neighbors as far as their hours of operation go, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, we're willing to work with you people, and as well as common sense that,
Yeah, we just like
the
to put it.
neighborhood as well.
I think our intent would only be to make sure we put it in writing that there would be some stipulation as to restrictions of day or time of day. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And get feedback from the public.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? I know Carl made a motion
Lucas,
to
actually.
accept.
Yep, I made the official second.
Oh, you did, okay.
Second.
All right, so Carl made a motion, Lucas seconded to accept the application, refer to planning, set a public hearing for June 1st at 6:30, either via teleconferencing or at the town hall. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye. Dan's opposed and for it.
Any opposition? Anybody opposed to this? Okay, so it's unanimous. Everybody agrees. To get back to my agenda, I'm over here on my computer. Okay. What's our next one is?
I'd just like to say thank you very much, and everyone stay safe, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
Right.
Thank you.
You as well.
Thanks,
Thank you
Stu.
very much.
Mr. Grant.
Take care now.
Okay, our next, under new business number 2, application number 20-0070 is Anthony Myrecki. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Myrecki at 211 Wrightsbrook Drive in Summers, special use permit application for a home occupation in accordance with the zoning regulations of section 214-39 home occupation and 214-98C 16, permitted in a regular residential A1 zone to allow the sale of licensed firearms. Is Anthony here?
Yes, I am.
Alex.
Okay, do you want to tell us a little?
It is Anthony. I'm sorry. It's my son.
Excuse me?
My name is Anthony. It's just Alex is my son. This is his Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about your application, what you're going to be doing? Do you have any employees?
It'll just be myself. The address is going to be drop point from manufacturer. The license needs an address, and that's where all the packages need to be sent to. It's primarily going to be online sales, so I would buy the firearm, get it dropped here, and then they would get sent most likely out of state to other licensed dealers where people would pick them up from them.
And Alex, this is Commission Member Lucas Cherry. Essentially, you're, as you said, a federally should have all the appropriate, or do have all the appropriate federal licensing for that?
So, not yet. So this is the beginning. The ATF agent will come after I send in my application to them, but it had to be approved through the town first.
Okay.
Because they'll check on the permit before they come.
Yeah, they're not going to come, and if the town was not going to allow it,
Yeah, no.
they go through an extensive, background search and bit of paperwork.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, you said you're selling online, so you don't have any business at your house?
No, I mean, if local residents would like to buy from me, I'd be more than happy to sell. But it's just the address is going to be used for the packages to go. The address on the license has to match where firearms would go.
So you
federal requirement, correct?
Yeah.
According to the ATF and I think FBI.
So you would be getting deliveries of firearms to your residence at 211 Wrightsbrook, and then from there you would send them out, or local people could go there and pick them up?
Either way.
It can't be either way.
Well,
We don't allow retail sales from the private residents.
Oh, no retail sales.
No retail sales from private residents or as a home occupation.
Okay, so it would be online.
Other people who are federally licensed firearms dealer within our town have a retail place of business to do the transactions at,
Okay.
which can be as little as a rented desk in an established retail location.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a 2,000 square foot.
No, it can be a desk rented in an office.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, you can't have people come to your house to buy.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. I didn't. I was.
And I think in order for you to qualify for a federal, since we do not allow retail sales in a residential zone, you're going to have a place that you say is where you're going to conduct your one-to-one business if you do transfers.
Yeah. Which I mean, I won't. Now knowing that, I wouldn't start until because my plan is to go and move, take it out of the home.
No, I understand, but the people who are doing it currently who have an FFL, the FFL is actually awarded to the address
Yeah.
they declare as their retail place, not their home.
Okay. So I could use this home address as an online business.
I don't think they're going to give you an FFL for that address since you can't do retail. It's something that goes back to when Clinton was president and changed all the rules about FFL holders.
Okay.
And I mean, I did some research myself, and believe me, I'm not an anti, I'm a pro. But it's the stipulation of the law, and it varies from town to town. It's just that our regulations don't allow retail use of your home, and it would have to be designated that way in order to satisfy the feds.
All right.
So basically, you would need to reject the application.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd return the application fee
Right.
as well, except for the $60 we had to give the state, I guess.
Actually, I haven't submitted it to the state yet, so
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I'll just,
we don't have any
yeah.
interest in taking this money.
right.
Okay, thank you.
So
So you need to make
we
a
have
motion.
to that effect.
I'd make a motion that we reject the application on the basis that it doesn't meet the requirements.
I'll second.
Okay, Carl made a motion to reject the application because it doesn't meet the requirements of the summer zoning. And Paige seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay, motion carries. The application has been rejected. In the application fees will be returned to
Yes.
the applicant.
Applicant.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, I'll be in contact with you, Anthony. This is Jennifer Roy. I'll be in contact with you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, moving right along over here with number 3 on our new business, application number 20008, Pleasant View Farms, 430 South Road, Summers, renewal of a special use permit for flea markets, festivals, in accordance with the zoning regulation, section 214-93, temporary commercial use in a residential A1 zone. You know, this application of Jeff Lifton comes up now every 5 years. It used to be every year, and then it's every 5 years. And I'm wondering, why is it a temporary commercial use? Could this be somehow not temporary? And then he wouldn't have to apply all the time? I'm wondering, would that be a new application? What would that entail?
Let me,
Carl, do you know that?
I think we talked about this when we talked about redoing the whole regulation package, and we had discussed that there'd be almost like a probationary period for this type of an application, and once you satisfied that, it would be permanent. But I can't remember exactly what we decided.
Oh, I remember verbatim those words off.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, it seems unnecessary to have Jeff come back in every 5 years even, and we decided that after, I don't know, probably 10 years of every year, where at first he had some issues, and he worked with his neighbors, and some of the neighbors changed, and there was no resistance at some point to him having that permit. So it's, I mean, we can hold a public hearing again if we probably should, because he expired, but for no other reason than that. And we could just say that at this point in time, there's no reason not to give it to him permanently.
But permanently goes with the land.
Correct.
So someday some other owner may not be as conscientious.
True.
I mean, do we
Yeah,
want
but
that?
that owner, I doubt, would still be a farm.
The other thing that we discussed, Paige, was at some point in time when we issue new special use permits, we ask them to surrender any rights under previous ones if necessary. And I don't see why we shouldn't start doing that as well.
Mhm. Right.
Would you have to do that for everyone that has one when they come forward? Or are you setting a precedent with that?
Well, you could ask them to surrender their previous and see where it goes, depending on what it is. I mean, that was recommended by Glenn Chalder while we were working on our revised regulations.
right, it's recommended by Glenn that you have, this is Jennifer Roy for the record, that you have it on the application that they are, forfeiting any prior approvals.
Correct.
The only issue that I see right now with giving him an unlimited special use permit is it doesn't fall under our 21491 permanent public uses. It specifically falls under 21493 that, it says for auctions, food festivals, music jamborees, and flea markets. And it says that you can issue a special use permit valid up to 3 years or any other shorter time period. So
Was 3 years?
that's what it says.
Okay, no, it might have been only 3 years ago that we told him he could go 3 years.
Well, I was going to recommend going 10 years.
But it just
You know,
goes against
easily
our
amend
current
the regulation
regulations.
if we can agree on a years, but and in the meantime, he's okay until we change it, right?
I mean, if you change the regulations, that there is not an expiration. I don't know.
Well, I
I
mean-
appreciate how good he's been.
Right. I'm kind of leaning with Paige.
But
Yes.
for these big events he's doing to come in every 3 years and pay a fee and get a permit to do these big events, I don't think it's too much to ask. I mean,
Oh,
you
no,
haven't
no,
even
I-
asked any complaints, Jen?
No, I haven't received any complaints at all. And as a matter of fact, this year, unfortunately, a lot of his events are getting
He's going to
squashed.
have none. But
I thought it was 5 years. Is it 5 years?
no,
I
it was
thought
only. I think it was only, if she's reading 3 years. We only extended it to 3. I thought it was 5 for some reason too.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I did.
I did. I had the same memory. Was that the new regs? Possibly we were going to 5 or?
I don't remember,
No,
Lucas.
it used to be every single year they had to come in.
Right.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think when John was still here, we changed it to 5.
Well, it just says in the regulations up to 3 years. So
Okay.
if you want to follow the regulations, I would just renew it right now for 3 years. And then, when we can ever get back to our revamp
Are
of
we
our...
supposed to hold a public hearing before we renew it for 3 years?
If
Special use permit?
if he's reapplying,
I think we do. I mean, I don't expect anybody's going to show up and protest, but I think we do illegally.
For any special use permit, you're supposed to hold a public hearing.
Right.
Can we add it to the June 1st public hearing?
I don't see why we couldn't. That one's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, June 1st.
Okay.
June 1st.
I'd make a motion that we accept Jeff Lipton's permit for a renewal of his special use permit for... Gotta bring that page back up.
Application 20008.
Yeah. For renewal of special use permit for flea markets and festivals in accordance with zoning regulations section 21493, temporary commercial uses in the residential A1 zone.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
I'm sorry, who
Motion
seconded?
carries. There'll be a public hearing on June 1st for the renewal.
Jill, who seconded?
Lucas.
Lucas, okay.
Lucas.
Okay. And if I may, Jill, before you move to the next item on the agenda, I did actually speak with Jeff Lipton today. He was, first questioning if he needed to enter into this meeting tonight, and I explained that it wasn't really necessary. But also, I don't know if you need to make a motion. It is a regular meeting, so we can discuss other things, but I don't know if someone needs to make a motion to allow to discuss a previous approval by the zoning commission for Joanna's for their patio.
I'd make such a motion to have a discussion
Okay.
about a previous decision concerning a patio for Joanna's.
Okay.
Second.
Lucas. Oh, sorry.
Page second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So basically, with what's going on, I'm not sure how up to date everyone is with the executive orders, but I guess restaurants are going to be allowed to do outdoor dining. Jeff's has approval for a patio out front of Joanna's, and he would like to construct that now. He hasn't had a chance to construct it, but he would like to put a temporary tent above it because should it rain and he has patrons there, they cannot go inside. So, just temporary for this season, for 2020. And if anyone had any objections or issues with that, I didn't see any issue with it. I mean, it's really the only way these businesses are going to be able to get back going.
And Jennifer, this is Lucas here. Essentially, we could even approve that to be tied into the governor's executive orders, correct?
Right, to follow along with the executive orders. So if say the executive order or say the governor frees up, okay, restaurants can now conduct normal business, we could stipulate that he has to take it down at that time. Or, I don't know what the commission's view is surrounding the patio and any kind of covering.
Well, when he was approved, because we did approve that.
Right.
We did.
Did you pull out that file that's...
I didn't have a chance. I just spoke with him late today, shortly before the meeting, so I didn't have a chance to do that yet. I can, check it. I was suggesting when I was on the phone with him that like I said, that you would just, if you wanted to have it on the record, and I would confirm it in writing to him, just temporary. And if he wanted to change anything, he'd have to come back to you.
Is he planning to construct the patio
Yes.
before he erects the tent?
Yes.
Didn't he have a covering over this anyways, or it was not covered?
He didn't make the patio yet.
No, I don't know what his.
Part of the approval wasn't that.
I don't know if he had a
The
canopy.
patio, he would have a patio that would sit so many people, and it would be covered or not covered. Because I don't think the tent really matters if it's a patio area, temporary.
No, but it does, Jill, if it's his only area under the rule of the governor. I agree with what Jeff is saying. If he has 10, 20 people show up for dinner and it rains, he can't bring them inside because he's not allowed to.
Right, so I think he needs the tent is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't sure where you were going with it. I agree.
Well, I think we should look at his plan for what he was approved for and let him do that in addition to giving him coverage for a tent and noting the executive order of the COVID-19, where we are, and he should be able to.
He's not asking for any change, Jill, to his patio.
No,
He wants to construct it the way it was approved with the stone wall and then the exits, the fire exits. The only thing he was seeking permission for was to put a temporary tent over the patio.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, makes complete and total sense.
I would not completely tie the tent to the executive order since
I
the
would.
orders.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we
Okay,
need to,
there's supposed
because
to
it
be
wasn't
opening
part of
of
our. Well, it wasn't
restaurants
part of our original.
under the
It wasn't.
sun. I'm actually in favor of letting him have the tent for a longer period, for a year, even
not.
just beyond the pure executive order, which again opens up restauranting May 19th or May 20th.
I'd be in favor of giving it to him for as long as he can't have people inside.
But he can also come back before us for a modification and include that tent as a permanent fixture, seasonally if it's a seasonal tent.
Right, or pavilion.
I mean, I'm all for him getting the tent. I'm all for him, doing what he wants to do there. And then down, in the next few months or 6 months, whatever, come back in and get it approved as a permanent, if he wants it permanent. Maybe he doesn't want it permanent.
I'm just saying I would just give it to him for the entire season. It just seems safer than.
I think we need.
Well, Paige, I agree with you to the point that I don't really think that the governor's going to relinquish the ability to populate a restaurant inside before November at the rate we're going. So, I mean, I don't disagree, but I would tie it to when the restrictions are rescinded, the tent's got to come down. So if he gets permission in September to reopen Joanna's, he doesn't really need the tent anymore because he doesn't have a problem if it starts to rain.
Correct.
Right, but in the meantime, he could come before us and he could ask for the tent seasonally.
Permanently?
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't apply for a covered porch, did he?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I wasn't present for the meetings. I think that happened last year when we were on vacation, and I'm not opposed to it at all.
I think he might have, You know those umbrellas they put?
Yeah, the awning.
Well, that's fine. That's what
I
people
think
do.
that's what
That's like what they do in
was
front of
planning
Legos.
to do. Right, exactly. That's where he was
But
getting.
that's not quite enough cover if you get a rainstorm.
No,
And I
right.
know I wants to do it, and I agree. We got to bend a little bit to give him some
Sure,
flexibility.
we
Yeah,
want
but-
to stay in business.
I think we have to include the executive order of COVID-19 because we're bending our rules.
Right.
And
And I
we're
think
giving
it's,
something, we're
that's
giving
the-
something without a public hearing where we're going forward and making a decision because, by the time you wait a month for a public hearing,
Yeah.
he's got to construct his patio. That's
yeah,
not
he's
going to
got to
happen by next week.
get up and,
And I would also ask the members to consider, if we're going to tie it to that executive order, that if it ended, I'm making this up, on June 15th, we not required to come down June 16th. We give them a, 1 week period because those are not, something you can't set up in 15 minutes.
Right.
I don't expect them to have it down that night.
No, I wouldn't either, but you don't expect him to keep it up until next June either.
but like I said, he could come in and ask for that seasonably. He may want that tent every summer.
That's a whole different story altogether.
So what I would
So,
suggest,
I think if we tie it to the COVID-19, would you put a date that it has to be off by a certain date, 90 days after or 60 days after?
30
Or
days
like
after.
right,
Yeah.
30 days after seems like a reasonable amount of time to me.
Because he would be moving people inside anyways.
And he'd be back to the umbrellas, which is, you're at the risk of the weather anyway,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So Jill,
which is what he applied for.
I would just suggest then that maybe, as chair, if you want to have the commission vote on it, make a motion, including that there who's in agreement to have a temporary tent, in accordance with the code, the governor's executive orders or the code,
Like
COVID-19
extraordinary
pandemic.
times.
and then put, state in there that, with the condition that it be removed within 30 days after the governor lifts the restrictions. And then I will, it'll be in our minutes and it will be sent in a confirmation letter to the property owner, to Jeff Lipton.
I think it has to state that when the governor lifts the restrictions regarding restaurants inside eating.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
30
somebody-
days after that date.
30 days. So somebody want to make that motion?
Go ahead, Lucas. I'll second you this time.
Oh, I was getting ready for the second. I'll make a motion to, oh my God, what are we doing here? What are we actually, we're giving him,
We're giving him permission to erect a temporary tent over the patio area to
okay,
be taken down within 30 days of the change in the order by the governor. Now, you can just second that one, I guess, if you want.
yeah,
In
second. Look at that.
well, that's in with keeping with the COVID-19.
Right, in keeping with the restrictions that everyone has to deal with COVID-19, and to promote the success of a local business.
Second.
Jennifer can word it right when she sends out the notice.
I will.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Opposed? No. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else? Is there anything else to discuss?
There is, Carl Landolina would like to know if perhaps maybe the commission is available to set up a special meeting one day next week to start the Hillsdale discussion.
Do we have any idea what time the town attorney was available?
No, he wanted me to get a feel for the commission. I know that, several of you are only available after hours, so,
Well, if it's gonna save the town money, we could meet a little earlier too.
Oh, it doesn't really save us any money.
no.
He's going to charge the same amount per hour, Lucas, whether it's 4 o'clock or 6:30.
Yeah, well, 4 or 5 o'clock, 5:30.
Yeah.
Jill, whatever you know.
Again,
Think.
this is Lucas. I'm pretty, I'd say after 2, 3 p.m. normally, I could be available.
Who's an essential worker here? Paige?
So 5:30 or after is better.
Nothing before 5 o'clock. And if you need to check schedules or want to think about it, Jill, I mean, we could, via email schedule something. You don't have to schedule it right this minute. I mean, I know it's...
So he's talking about discussion.
This is a work session between us and them.
Right.
Is it public? Will it
They're all
be
public.
it'll be if it's a Zoom, it'll be a Zoom, teleconferencing, or if we met in person, I don't know if that's probably not happening next week.
That would be more than 5 people. That would be 8
Yeah.
people, 8 of us, so we can't do that. But, it would still be streamed on YouTube so people can watch it. But
Unless we went into executive session, correct?
you can't.
Oh, we can't?
Yeah, you can't.
No.
It would just be a closed meeting on Zoom for discussion, for council, for Evan and Carl to start your discussions or assist you in your discussion decision process. Just to get the ball rolling, Carl's got some information that he's compiled that he wants to discuss with the commission. I know we're asking, we've got having a lot of meetings. It's up to you guys, but that's what he would like to
I'm
get done.
available when the other commission members can be available.
Jen, do you think an hour is enough? Or
I think it can be whatever you guys as a commission. I wouldn't schedule the meeting and say, it's from 5:30 to 6:30 or 6 to 7 or whatever. But once the meeting starts and you start discussing, you certainly could suggest that to, if you're all on the same page now talking about it, that you only want to allow for an hour to do it, that's up to the zoning commission, whatever you, I don't know how much, what he's got to say. So.
I was just wondering if we could squeeze it in before one of the public hearings that we have coming up.
Oh, on the 18th?
I'm open to Paige's suggestions. If we can do it earlier, I can be available.
I don't think that's earlier because
well,
that's the 18th. He's saying next week.
He said next week, but if I let him know that we have a special meeting for the 18th, so Paige, meaning, so we could technically start the Zoom around 5 or 5:15, and then you would be able to log in because you're home, right?
Yes.
So you could hop right on it.
Do the 11th, on the 11th next week, next Monday?
That's up to all of you commission members. If you want to do it on separate nights, or if that means every Monday we're all going to be on Zoom together. So it's up to you guys. Or do you want to, I understand what you're saying, we could have them start to talk at, 5 o'clock, and then just let them know, well, at 6:30 we're opening a public hearing. But you said that you wanted just the winery.
Can you guys do next week? Next
I
Monday?
can. My issue is I have an 8-year-old, so
Yeah.
keeping her occupied for too long, I got about 2 hours.
Makes
That's about
sense.
the span of a movie.
Yeah.
That's why I said if we do the bite size next week and the bite size the week after.
Yes. I don't mind coming on.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere. We're home.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess if they could do next Monday.
All right. I'll
you
just.
want to do, Paige, you said 5:30?
That'd be fine. If that works for everybody.
I'll check with Carl and Evan, and then I'll do an email and set an agenda on. I'll confirm with them.
And then if not, I guess, I don't know how long the public hearing for the
Wine.
text. It's just a text amendment. It isn't. it isn't approving anything else but the text, so
Mhm.
that shouldn't really.
Well, you'll still have public comments. I've got several emails already.
I'm sure.
So,
Hmm.
well, we'll go. Why don't we just start from there? I'll check Carl Landolina and Evan. Now, if the 11th, if Monday is not good for them, I mean, is Tuesday okay with you all, or?
Oh, the 12th, like the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I mean,
This is Lucas. I'll make any day work.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay. I'll send out an email tomorrow to him, and then I will keep you all informed of their availability. Oh, I think Carl got disconnected. His internet died. He can't communicate. Okay.
all right, so let's try to shoot for the 11th, and if it doesn't work out, we'll, see what date does work for them.
Hang on one second. Let me call Carl and try it this way that he can.
Look at, then we'll only have to worry about Evan's availability.
No, not Carl Landolina. Carl Walton got
Oh,
disconnected.
Carl Walton.
Get cut off.
Well, so I figured, Carl, if you're on speakerphone with me, so we'll be recorded here. We were talking about. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So Carl Landolina wants to start the discussions. You caught that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and see if they're available Monday, and if they're not, possibly Tuesday. Is that okay with you? Do you?
Either day, as far as I know, you're talking about next week?
Yes.
Yeah, either day is fine with me.
Okay. Okay.
My question was only, this is a public discussion, this is not an executive session, correct?
You can't have an executive session. It's a discussion among the commission members and council. It will be streamed. It'll be recorded and streamed for the public to pay attention to and to listen to, but they cannot speak. No one else can speak.
Well, no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Your focus as far as the information is concerned, I understand.
Right. No, but yeah. So it'll just be the attorneys and you commission members.
Yep, this is the beginning of the deliberations on coming to a decision on it.
Correct. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll handle that. Then all we have is the minutes.
I almost made it through the meeting, so.
What was that?
I almost made it through it without the internet fading. It
Oh.
actually came back on quicker this time than it has.
Oh, your internet. Oh, okay.
I talked to them and told me that I have to trade in my device again.
Oh.
So I was,
Okay. He's having internet issues. Telling everyone else. So we just need the minutes approval for April 14th.
Is there any discussion on those minutes?
I have no questions.
Looked fine to me.
So does somebody want to make a motion to accept the minutes of April 14th as written?
So moved as written.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Paige made a motion to accept the minutes of April 14th, 2020 as written, and Deanne seconded that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those minutes are approved as written. April 14th minutes. And last but not least, a motion
Madam
to...
Chairwoman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Paige. Somebody like to second that?
Second, Lucas.
Lucas, second that. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourning our meeting at 7:42.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Aye.
Take care.
All right, Carl.
Be safe.